Welcome to Cooking with Kevin. Sure glad you could join me today. So today I'm going to be making some chili, and I figured I might as well video it and share with all of you how I go about making it. I don't make it like everybody else does. I make it from scratch, and I figured I'd show you how I do it. Not saying it's the right way, I'm not saying it's the wrong way, but it's the way I make it, and I like the way it tastes. So we'll get to it. And if you enjoy this segment, maybe I'll do some more cooking segments in the future. I'm not going to say I'm some chef, but the things I do know how to make, I make pretty well. So I'll go ahead and tell you what we got to work with. As far as the veggies for the sauce, I've got some Roma tomatoes, I've got a red onion, I've got some garlic, and then I've got an assortment of peppers. I've got some Hatch red chilies. They're dried. These come from Hatch, New Mexico. And these are probably the best chilies in the world. And then I've got a few dried cayenne peppers, and I've got a little dried habanero for a little kick. And oh yeah, this was a fully ripened jalapeno that I dried also. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these de-seeded, de-stemmed, and get them rehydrating in some water. And then we'll get on to everything else. But before we do that, I'll go ahead and tell you what the other ingredients I have. I've also got some ground cumin, some normal, regular old table salt, got some red wine vinaigrette, and some extra virgin olive oil. I like to keep it kind of healthy. Also, need about 2 cups of water. Now, what I've already done is I went ahead and took a 2-pound beef roast and I put it in my slow cooker, and all I did was I poured a can of beef broth and added a little bit of water just to get the level up right, and then I let it slow cook on low overnight. And this morning I pulled it out of there and I shredded all the meat up, so it's all ready to go. So once we get the sauce all made, we can throw it in the slow cooker with the meat. And the other thing I've got is a can of dark red kidney beans. You really use whatever kind of bean you like: red beans, black beans, pinto beans, whatever other kind of bean. And green beans probably wouldn't be very good, but hey, to each their own. But kidney beans, we'll drain the water out of this too, so we don't need all that extra water. Besides, the tomatoes will have some water in them as well. But I like using the Romas because they're meatier, and so you actually get a bit more substance out of your tomato, which is nice for sauce because you need some, helps with the volume. You don't want it to be too thin. I like a nice thick chili. So, all right. So in that case, what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and get these peppers here. Go ahead and start rehydrating them. So we'll just fill up this little bowl here with some warm water. I'll de-stem and de-seed those real quick, and then we'll get everything chopped up and we'll get to the cooking side of it. All right, so let's stay tuned. All right, so I got the peppers in the bowl of warm water so they can rehydrate. Now I've got about 8 of the red chilies, and there's 5 of the cayenne, 1 habanero, and 1 jalapeno. Now you can use, I'm using dried peppers, but you can use fresh peppers. You just don't need to rehydrate. Just cut them up. I recommend getting the skins off of them, but you can leave the skins on. Not a big deal. And don't worry if you didn't get all the seeds and get some of the seeds in there. that's fine. Those cayenne peppers is about impossible to not get seeds in there. So nice little spicy surprise while you're eating. So I've got those, and I went ahead and broke those up. Now, if you can't find Hatch chilies, any kind of chili really kind of works. You know, you can use poblanos, you can use Anaheims, you know, just those types of peppers. You can use dried, you can use fresh. It doesn't matter. Works all the same. If you use green peppers, you're going to end up with a green sauce, which I love the green sauce, that's personally, but but I like the red as well. So we got that soaking, and we're gonna go ahead and chop up our tomatoes, our onion, and we'll get our garlic going, and then we'll get it all cooked up. So I'm gonna aim the camera at here so you can see me cut it up, and oh, I can't wait to eat this. This is gonna be good. I'm going to go ahead and peel these. Just do it real quick. This would be a better knife for this. So I may have mangled them a little bit while I was peeling them, but that's okay. All I'm doing here is just kind of cutting them into chunks. Makes it easier for cooking purposes. Now I just got 3 Romas. That's plenty of tomato. And we got, just toss that right in there. So. I know, you're a good kitty. I must say this is a very lovely red onion. Alright, so we're only going to need half of this guy here. Because we don't, because as tasty as onions are, that's not the only thing we want to taste. So, take half the onion, the other half over there. Chop this guy up. If I start crying, I swear it's the onions. Oh yeah, this is a very nice onion. Whew. It's juicy too. I had a feeling this one was going to be a tearjerker. I could smell it before I even cut into it. Whew, nice. Chop those up real good. Well, here we go. Whew. Eyes are stinging. They are stinging. And I want to rub them, but I got onion juice on my fingers in my hands. Okay. Now I don't do everything by precise measurement, so I don't think I need quite half that onion. Probably end up with about a little over a third of that onion, but just depends on how much onion you want. That's really the key. But we want the flavor in there, but we don't want that to be the only thing we're tasting. That's the trick. All right, so we got our onion there. Let's go ahead and get our garlic. Let's see if we can go ahead. I am terrible at peeling cloves of garlic, as you can probably see. Gotta get it. I know. Alright. There we go. Alright, so I got 3 cloves of garlic. Got them peeled, and my garlic press is broken. Easier to do that, but if you don't have a garlic press, just take the side of your knife. Be very careful. Put the sharp part away from you. And then you can just, the side of the blade, you can just crush that garlic and chop it up. Alright. Then put it in that same little tray as you did with the onion. Since they're going to go in the sauce at the same time, we'll just put them in the same thing. Fewer dishes. And one thing about me is I don't like doing dishes. So fewer the better. Alright, so got our onions and garlic in that tray right there. So what go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and take olive oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay. Put in that same little cup there. The pan that we got our tomatoes in, we're going to put one and a half tablespoons of ground cumin. Whew. All the stuff I'm making is very aromatic. I think beer helps with that. I know. Alright, so I'm going to take these peppers and I'm going to drain the water out of them, and we'll add them to this pan with the tomatoes, and then we'll start cooking. Alright, oh, those look incredible. Now, you want to let them soak in that warm water for at least 20 minutes. If it's longer than that, that's fine, but you want it to soak for at least 20 minutes so they can fully hydrate. Alright, so add our chilies. Oops. Oh, this is going to be some Okay, so you can see we got our tomatoes, we've got our chilies, and we've got our cumin in there. Oh, I see the kitty in the background. But now we're going to toast these on a medium heat for about 2 to 4 minutes, and then we'll get on to the next part. So I'm going to move the camera so you can see the cooking process. Alright, so I've got the peppers and tomatoes in a medium saucepan. Put it on medium heat. Now you really want to stir it up, make sure that cumin's getting spread around, get it on everything. And really the clock starts ticking on the toasting of this stuff once you start hearing that sizzle. So you got to give it a chance to warm up first. Alright, now it's starting to sizzle, so here in about 2 to 4 minutes we're gonna let that toast. We're gonna stir it often so we don't burn it though. The only water that's in there is what was in the tomatoes and what got rehydrated into the chilies. So it'll be pretty easy to burn this stuff if you're not careful. And you don't have to be like real stickler about how long you go. If it's in the 2 to 4 minutes, if it goes more than 2 to 4 minutes, that's fine. It really just depends on how big of a batch of sauce you're making. If you're making a bigger batch, it may take a little bit longer, just because that way you want to make sure you get all of it, you know. Alright. Now we're going to add the red onion, the garlic, and this also has the extra virgin olive oil in it. So we'll just add that right in there like that. We'll just stir that up. We'll let this get this going together just for another 5 minutes or so. Oh gosh, it smells delicious already. Stir it up real good. Want to get all that olive oil and the onions and the garlic just mixed through there real good. Now we're going to take some oregano. Should have checked to make sure it was open already. All right. Take a teaspoon of oregano, and then red wine vinaigrette. And a heavy pinch of salt. Got a second pinch in there. There we go. A little more salt. There we go. And then the only thing we got left to do is add some water. Yeah, probably good. Probably just shy of 2 cups water. Like I said, it just depends on how much mass, how much of the batch you're making. If it's too thin, you can always cook it down a bit. That's totally alright. Okay. Get that mixed up real good. Alright, so I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and then I'm going to cover it and reduce the heat down to a simmer. And then I'm going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes, stir it occasionally, and then after that, throw it in the blender, blend it all up, and then we'll throw everything in the crock pot and let that cook. And then once that's done, I'll do the final reveal when I serve myself a nice healthy dose of homemade chili. So stay tuned. Alright, so I've let the sauce simmer for 20 minutes. Didn't mean to scratch my nose, but it's very aromatic in this room right now. So anyway, I'll let it simmer for 20 minutes. Now I'm going to put it in the blender and I'm going to puree it till it's nice and smooth, and we'll see how the sauce is looking. Alright, so I'm going to readjust this camera and we'll get to that good stuff. Now I'm just putting it in a blender. Good stuff's in there. Alright, and we'll just puree. Alright, we got that nice and pureed. Take a look at this. Whew. Oh yeah, that's quite nice. Not necessarily the prettiest thing in the world, but chili isn't supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to taste good. Alright, set that guy right there. Alright, we'll take our crock pot here and ooh, there's that nice roast right there. Slow cooked overnight. This stuff is so tender. Dump that in there. we'll take the dark red kidney beans. Now, this is the only thing that is canned. Everything else is fresh. Well, I guess the cumin and the oregano, I guess those were out. But you know what I mean. Just dump the beans right on in there. And then take our sauce. And just pour it on in there. Mix everything up. And just give it a nice stirring up. Oh, that is thick. Let's add a little bit of water. It seems kind of thick. Alright, so there we go. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. I'm going to put this on the slow cooker and then I'm going to let it cook on low for a few hours. Get it nice and tender, get all those wonderful flavors cooked into that meat and into the beans. And when it's ready, we'll do the big reveal. So I let the chili cook in the slow cooker on low for a few hours, overnight actually, but it's all ready to go, and I'm going to serve some up and give it a try. Alright, so I got a nice bowl made up of it. Oh man, that looks delicious. Throw a little bit of cheese on here. Now you can use whatever cheese you prefer. I've got the Mexican blend of Monterey Jack, mild cheddar, queso quesadilla, and asadero cheeses. It's a nice little mix. So, I like cheese, so really cheese it up. Oh, good. Add a little more cheese, why not? Now if it ends up being thicker than you wanted it, that's okay, you can just add some water and you can thin it out if you want to do that way. But me personally, I like a nice thick meaty chili. Alright, let's give it a try. Oh goodness. Look at that. That is just some beautiful stuff right there. Let's take a nice big bite. Oh, that is delicious. There really is something about food that's made from scratch. That's so good. It's got a nice amount of spice, not too spicy. Oh wait, there it is. Kind of tickles the throat a little bit. That's good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Till next time, be good to each other, and remember, be creative.